Hey, you guys, good to see you again. This is Susan Lynn, psychic medium, and I'm here right now to talk to you about the election, the United States election, and some really important information that my guides just gave me today. So you're going to want to watch this to the end because it is pretty mind-blowing. So first of all, I just want to say that even though me, Susan, I am terrified about the election, I'm worried about the election, my guides are not worried about it. They want to convince me and you that Biden is going to win. This is a good time to say that this is for entertainment purposes only and that I am not a Trump fan. So you can just tune out right now and go somewhere else. But I will also say that my guides always tell me, what really is the truth, because they don't care. They see, Trump as a lesson, as a much needed lesson, right? As a much needed wake up call for America. So many things about our judicial system and about our election process and about our presidential powers need to be revisited. So this was, for them, it's all good. So I guess I'm saying that's because I just want you to know that the information that I'm giving you is not partisan. It's straight from there. So, but me personally, not a fan. So I want to tell you, because Biden's going to win. They've reiterated this 100 times. Of course it's going to be dicey. Of course it's going to be challenged. Of course it's going to be, it's 2020 and it's Trump. I mean, of course all these things are going to happen. But the thing that you maybe don't know is that when Trump loses, we've all thought that he was going to flee, that he was going to basically leave the country. Many readers thought he was going to leave the country before now, because we know that he doesn't like to lose. We know that. So it looks like he's losing right now. I mean, we're not going to count our eggs before they're hatched because it's 2020, but it does look bad for him, right? And so he is ramping up his narrative about various things that have been proven not true, but he's going to continue ramping that up. The thing that I want to talk to you about is that when the election happens, when Biden wins, there will be a few days. I think it's going to be within 3 to 4 or 5 days that they will take to actually ratify, certify the votes and actually say Biden won this election. But once that happens, that's when things get crazy. One of the things my guides had told me before was that Trump was going to get very sick, and they still say he is going to get very sick. But my interpretation of that was, and it was wishful thinking, I will admit, was that he would get sick before the election. And he still may, but I don't think he'll get sick to the degree that they show me. What I was hoping was that he would get sick and then be taken out of the equation so that he couldn't make a mess after Biden won, that he would just be rolled off in a gurney someplace and disappear. And that's what they showed me happening. But as you may know, timing for psychic energy, psychic readings is very different. Our timing is completely different than their timing. Their timing is so much faster. Our timing is so much slower. So trying to get timing is hard. So all that to say that what they're telling me today clearly shows that he's not going to get sick. He's not going to get sick, and I don't want him to be sick. I don't want anyone to get sick. I don't want anybody to die. I just want him to step aside so that our country can move forward. So, but he's not going to step aside. It turns out that he's going to be in the White House through the election and after the election as a lame duck president. That means that he is still in control of our country to some degree, but he's not our president. And that's really a problem, because the way he controls our country is through his supporters. And so what they show me is that he will start, and he's already started this. If you look at the way he's treated the Michigan governor, who was targeted as a person that a group was going to kidnap and put on trial and execute. This really happened, and these people were arrested and charged. There's no doubt in anybody's mind. The evidence is very clear that that's what their game was. But right now, our president, President Trump, is saying lock her up, and he's encouraging his supporters to be against this woman. So he's fomenting, violence. He's fomenting violence against a governor. So if he's doing that now, and he hasn't lost, my guides are saying that once he loses, he's going to pull the gloves off, and he's going to be much more, I don't even know how you can be much more with Trump, anything, but he's going to be much more outwardly calling for his supporters to do things. And they told me that he's got code words. So there's going to be a code word that he's going to say. And because when he first starts this, he's not wanting to be caught. He's trying to be sly because this is planned. He has literally sat down with some of his minions and planned this. So the first day or two, it'll go by plan, which means give them the code word. Once they get the code word, they know what to do. They've been given instructions. Now, they, meaning the Proud Boys, the Boogaloo Boys, whoever those militias are, have been given instructions. The instructions are to get your guns and get as many of them on your person as you can, and to go out and intimidate citizens, specifically at businesses and at federal buildings and government buildings. Go stand on street corners, go stand on steps, stand in front of the doors. You're just exercising your second right, your Second Amendment, so you're not doing anything wrong. Just stand there and look mean and be heavily, heavily armed. Step one. That's the plan. And I feel like one of the code words is a coup. He's going to say, this is a coup. I'm being removed from the presidency via a coup, and Biden is leading the coup. And when he says coup, that's the code word for all of these militias to arm up and go stand and intimidate. And I'm seeing right now, literally people standing in front of Walmart, people standing in front of McDonald's, people standing in front of federal courthouses. Just intimidation, and for there to be large numbers. The point being that these are really large numbers, and then it happens in multiple cities on the same day. So you can understand how the news is going to go crazy with this. If there's 20 militia on this federal building, and then 30 militia and 10 militia and 5 militia, and and they're all in different cities at the same time, it's almost like he went like that and they all acted in unison. So that's the plan, okay? But the problem with the plan is that as long as they're not breaking any laws, nobody, other than the first, hours of coverage, it's not going to be a big deal because we're all going to go about our way. As a matter of fact, people are probably going to look at him like they're crazy, and they're going to go about their business. So that's not going to give him the response that he wants. What he wants, and I don't know. We know he doesn't think clearly. Why I'm even asking the question, I don't know, because we know this already. But what he wants is for a coup. He wants for everybody to rise up in all those towns and cities and say, we want Trump back, we want Trump back, we want Trump back, and that somehow he's going to get reinstated. That's what he thinks, okay? He really thinks that. And he really thinks that he's going to be able to take it to court and win. This is what his thought process is. But neither of those things are going to happen. But what is going to happen is that as the days go by and those actions don't get the traction that he wants them to have, he is going to up the ante. We know this already. We've seen it every day in his tweets. He's going to start getting more and more brazen in his vocalizing of what the militias should do. And he's going to start telling them to do things like, you need to take over that federal building because that's my city. I'm in charge here. I'm the president. This is illegitimate and you need to take it over. I'm telling you ordering you to go take over that federal building. Okay, that's the line of all lines, you know? And the reason it matters is because he's no longer president. He's a lame duck president. So any, everybody looked the other way. Everybody, because he's president, supposedly you can't indict a president. And they tried to impeach him and it didn't work. So people have given him grace, let's just say. We've looked the other way and let a lot of things slide with this guy, but not after he's a lame duck president. They're not going to let these things slide. So what's going to happen is that you're going to have governors calling out their National Guard. I mean, you can't just take over federal buildings and get away with it. And now I say that, but it's happened in the past, has it not? But the difference is that it's not going to be one. It's going to be 5 in 5 different cities. And then pretty soon you can see the writing on the wall that we're going down the road to anarchy and lawlessness. Because this president is not president. He's a lame duck president. He doesn't have the power to do this any longer. And that will hopefully kind of spur these local governors, to take their own, National Guards and do something about this. So it's going to get dicey, but he's going to call his people up. And then the other thing that I see happening is, which is really freaky and really weird, is that you have the militias. We know about them. We know they exist. We know that he has contact with them, all that, right? But he's got another code word that comes out, and then you see and this is what they showed me. I swear I don't watch a lot of movies, and I don't watch zombie movies in general because frankly it's a little too real for me personally, being a medium. But anyway, they show me like a field like with some stunted trees, kind of creepy looking, and then all of a sudden out the grass like opens up and out come these people. But they're not zombies. They're like your people in your community. Like there goes the mailman, and there goes the dentist, and there goes your hairdresser. But they're Trump supporters, and they're protesting because they really truly think this is a coup. They truly believe it with all their heart and soul that America is under attack and this is a coup. So now not only do you have militias with arms, but you have Betty Joe and John and, Jimmy out there with their little arsenal, and they're out there, raising hell too. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. So, because Trump is, as long as he can stay in the White House, he's going to keep doing this. That's the problem. We have to get him out of the White House. That's why I was thinking that if he got sick, he would be taken out of the White House, and then that would be, our problem would be solved. He wouldn't be there to be an agitator. But since he's not going to get sick during this period of time, he's actually going to be in the White House being an agitator, and an illegal agitator at that. So what's going to happen, who's going to be our saving grace, and how are we going to get out of this situation, is that because he's a lame duck president, Letitia James, who's the New York Attorney General, who has indictments just waiting for him to get to be, a regular person and not president anymore, will serve him her indictments. And once that happens, and there's also some other attorneys generals that are either already have indictments ready or are preparing them. And I don't know who they are, but they show me more states doing that. And then I just heard RICO, which is like the law where they get gangsters, where they get mafia. It's like the mafia law. Anyway, money laundering, I just heard that. So when those things come flying at him and he knows that he's going down, he's not totally stupid. He knows he's going down. He knows it's not working. The National Guards are quelling these uprisings. He knows it's not working. That's when he's going to flee. Thank God. That is when he's going to flee. Now, I don't know where he's going to go. They told me earlier of course, the first thing we think is Russia. We think he's going to go to Russia because Russia has been, his best friend. His own personal attorney just recently was pointed out by our intelligence agencies that Rudy Giuliani is getting Russian information. He's basically a Russian plant, if you will. So we know Russia's close to him. But here's the problem. Russia, once Biden gets in and Harris gets in, Russia is not going to be in a good place with America. That's going to be like the second thing that Biden does is call Russia and say, we're coming after you. You have, attacked our voting. You've put bounties on our soldiers. You are not a friend of the United States, and we're going to do everything we can to make you feel the pain that you have caused us. So, Putin knows this. Putin knows. He's not a dummy. So if Trump tries to go to Russia, Putin's just going to give him back because he's going to hoping in doing so that he'll, be able to barter back some leniency. Here, I'll give you your president back if you will go easy on the sanctions, or if you will open up the trade routes or not close them, as it were. So really, Trump is not safe to go to Russia because Russia will be gleefully happy to hand him back. I mean, Putin was never a fan of Trump anyway. He just used him. So he's not going to go to Russia. I wondered about China. I mean, me, Susan, I'm wondering about all these things, but my guides are like, no, he's not going to any of those places. They gave me the name of this island, and I don't know how to say it, so I'm just going to embarrass myself and say it. I should pause the video and look it up right now. But it's Mauritius. They keep talking about this. I would assume that there's a wealthy person on the island that will harbor him for some period of time. And I don't know about their extradition. I don't know if they have extradition with the United States. I don't know anything about this. I feel like it's a colony, a Dutch colony is what they're saying. Anyway, I don't know anything about it. But, Trump thinks his whole life, he's been able to slither under the laws, or slither through the laws. So he doesn't really know how serious this is. He still thinks that he can get out of it. He still thinks it's a matter of pay a fine or, whatever, and he'll be fine. And he still thinks that he has something to barter to other countries. He still thinks being a past president, he has something to barter, some information to give or something to give. But he doesn't. So he's going to go to this island at some point. We may not even know about it. This might be something he lands and then he goes somewhere else. But Chile popped into my brain. Anyway, so his problem is he's got to find a country that doesn't have extradition with the United States, number one. And number two, a country that's willing to take on the wrath of the United States for hosting a president that has been indicted. Now, that's going to be pretty hard to find with probably only, maybe Iran and North Korea being those countries. And I don't really see Trump hanging out there too much. Maybe North Korea, but I don't know. So, things are going to be interesting because if he flees to one of those countries, what is America going to do? What is Biden going to do? Are we going to go after him? Are we going to, what happens? These are things we've never experienced before. But this is what they told me is happening. And it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm going to do another video. I want to talk to you guys about something else. I put it all in the same video earlier today, and it was just too much. But I do want to talk to you, and my next video is going to be about COVID. There's big things happening that you need to know about with that coming up for our Thanksgiving and our holidays. So I do want to talk to you about that. So tune in again, please, if you want to know about that. And I hope this was clarifying. I hope it was helpful. The last thing I do want to leave you with, because this is super important, is that I did say this, but the guides want me to reiterate that to not get involved. When these militias take over your town, don't get involved. And let me say that they may start out with like standing in front of Walmart and McDonald's and the county courthouse. But if that doesn't get the response they want, they'll go stand in front of your schools. They'll go stand in front of grocery stores. Their point is to intimidate. Trump thinks he's going to take over cities. He thinks he's going to, I swear to God, this just came to me. He thinks he's going to take over cities like, oh, I got Des Moines under my control. Like the Taliban, when like they take over a city and they're like, we have Mosul. It's like, what? I mean, what? Anyway, the point being, don't get involved. It's not your fight. It's not your fight. We will deal with it as a country. We will deal with it the way we're supposed to deal with it, which is with our National Guard and, God forbid, our own military. But please don't get involved. And COVID is on the rise. Please mask up, take care, social distance, and hopefully you'll tune in for another video. I've got some good information for you guys that will be helpful, and I want to wish you all the best. And despite all of this, really and truly, we have good times coming. I believe that, I know that, and I'm sure of it. We just have to get through this little dicey area, and then we'll be able to start rebuilding, and things will be a lot better. Take care, everybody.